Michelle Lopez. Michelle Lopez is a nationally known HIV-positive advocate and spokesperson who willfully disclosed her status to educate African, Caribbean, and Hispanic populations about HIV and AIDS. Michelle Lopez is currently the campaign coordinator for the CDC HIV Treatment Works campaign for New York and the go-to person for HIV education on behalf of the MAC AIDS Fund, Bristol Myers Squibb, Gilead Pharmaceuticals, and Merck Pharmaceuticals. In December 2000, Michelle Lopez was inducted into the Dallas Smithsonian's Women's Museum Living Quilt of Women Health Advocates for her tireless work as an advocate for women infected and affected by HIV. In 2005, TheBody.com named Michelle as one of the most inspiring persons living with HIV. Michelle Lopez. Mark Milano. Mark Milano is a longtime AIDS activist and community treatment educator. He joined ACT UP New York in 1987 and has been an active member ever since. He helped create the first directory of AIDS clinical trials at AIDS Treatment Resources in 1989, and until 2001 worked at the New York State Department of Health AIDS Institute as the coordinator of experimental treatment information. He is currently the publications manager and editor of Achieve, ACRIA's quarterly publication on HIV treatment, prevention, and policy. He is active in the fight against overpriced medications and global treatment access, working with Health Gap and the AIDS Treatment Activists Coalition. Mark Milano. Dr. Luis Freddie Milano. Dr. Luis Freddie Milano worked as a family practitioner in South and Central America prior to joining Community Healthcare Network in 1989. Dr. Milano went on to become Center Director at the Bronx Health Center for 12 years. Dr. Milano then became Associate Executive Director for Women's Health and HIV Prevention Program. He was later named Assistant Vice President of HIV Programs and Services, a role he filled for 6 years before being named Vice President of HIV Programs and Services in 2010. Additionally, he has served on the New York State Prevention Planning Group, the New York State AIDS Service Delivery Consortium, and he is a member of the International AIDS Society. Dr. Luis Freddie Milano. William Murphy. William Murphy was appointed Executive Director by the Board of Ryan Chelsea Clinton Community Health Center in 2013. As Chief Administrative Officer, he led the team that opened Ryan's Women's and Children's Center in 2010, as well as holding responsibility for administering and ensuring the seamless integration of Ryan's programs targeted to special populations, including people living with HIV. Mr. Murphy is currently on the Board of Managers of the Community Health IPA and has served for several years as the Vice Chair of the LGBT Task Force for the National Association of Community Health Centers. William Murphy. Luna Luis Ortiz. Luna Ortiz is the Community Health Specialist at Gay Men's Health Crisis. At GMHC, he works on the agency's social marketing campaigns, as well as hosting youth workshops, conferences, and health fairs for more than 300 youth of color. In 1988, he began his journey as a public speaker at the Hetrick Martin Institute to bring awareness to youth living with HIV. Over the years, Ortiz has dedicated his life to HIV prevention and AIDS awareness for people around the world by appearing on many television programs. Today, Ortiz continues to inspire and empower youth of color around the world with his story of survival and living with HIV for 30 years, with love, compassion, and care. Luna Luis Ortiz. Dr. Jeffrey Parsons. Dr. Jeffrey Parsons is Distinguished Professor of Psychology at Hunter College and the Graduate Center of the City University of New York. Since 1996, he has been the founder and director of the Center for HIV and AIDS Educational Studies and Training. He has brought in more than $55 million in federal grant funding for his research. His current research focuses on sexual risk behaviors among gay and bisexual men, particularly among youths, PrEP uptake, the connection between sexual compulsivity and HIV risk behaviors, and interventions to improve HIV medication adherence. He serves as the vice president of the school board for the Teaneck Community Charter School, where his son attends. Dr. Jeffrey Parsons. Dr. Andre Peck. Dr. Andre Peck is the executive director of the Haitian American Community Coalition. He studied medicine in Haiti and has been the director of L'Ouverture Residence since 1998, which is a congregate supportive housing program for people living with HIV and AIDS in New York City. Dr. Peck is well known for providing seminars and educational sessions on various medical topics such as diabetes and obesity. He is involved in all matters concerning Haiti, the Caribbean, and the United States, and is the recipient of many awards in his line of expertise, working as a doctor in his homeland of Haiti, as well as in his role as CEO of HCC. Dr. Andre Peck. Donald Powell. Donald Powell has worked in the field of human services for more than 20 years. In his position as Senior Director of Policy and Development for Exponents, he works with members of the executive management team to identify resources, secure funding, and address technical assistance needs. He also oversees the development of policy initiatives related to substance use treatment, incarceration, and increasing quality of life in the LGBT community. He is Senior Administrator for the agency's CDC-funded initiatives and serves as co-principal investigator for a SAMHSA program for HIV-positive, high-risk, negative gay and bisexual men and transgender women of color. Donald Powell. Regina Quatro Key. Regina Quatro Key is the Chief Executive Officer of Bailey House, the first supportive housing agency in the country for people living with HIV and AIDS. Her work and advocacy have helped establish the link between homelessness and HIV incidents and the need for stable housing for access to health care and improved health outcomes. Ms. Quatro Key is the former president and current board member of the National AIDS Housing Coalition and founding member of the 30 for 30 campaign. In 2014, she was appointed to Governor Cuomo's Ending the Epidemic Task Force. Furthermore, she received the 2014 UCLA Johnson & Johnson Healthcare Executive Program Community Health Improvement Project Award, honoring leaders in healthcare. Regina Quatro Key. Therese Rodriguez. As Apache Community Health Center's CEO, Therese Rodriguez oversees the development, implementation, operation, maintenance, and control of the agency's programs, services, facilities, and staff. She guides the implementation of Apache's mission and strategic goals and ensures compliance with local, state, and federal regulations that affect agency operations. Ms. Rodriguez has led Apache since 1997. Under her direction, Apache moved from an exclusive focus on HIV treatment over the course of 20 years to integration of HIV care with primary care, achieving federally qualified health center status in 2015. Therese Rodriguez. Gloria Searson. As president and founding director of COPE, the Coalition on Positive Health Empowerment, Gloria Searson leads the agency in its commitment to eradicate hepatitis C through advocacy, education, patient screening, counseling, and peer support. For more than 22 years, she has been a talented entrepreneur, renowned healthcare advocate, community leader, educator, and speaker in the area of HIV and AIDS and hepatitis C. Gloria earned a BA in political science from the University of Albany, as well as a master's degree in social work from the State University of New York at Stony Brook. Gloria Searson. Kimberly Joy Smith. Kimberly Joy Smith is the Senior Director for Community Health Planning and Policy at Kalen Lord Community Health Center. Prior to this, Kimberly served as the Vice President for Policy, Advocacy, and Communications at Harlan United, where she worked for 6 years. Kimberly has dedicated her diverse 22-year career to improving health and promoting health equity and social justice for communities of color. She brings a background as a journalist, nonprofit grants writer, and is a graduate of New York University's Robert F. Wagner Graduate School of Public Service. She is the former president of the board of directors of the Paul Rappaport Foundation, an independent private foundation which serves the LGBT communities of metropolitan New York. Kimberly Joy Smith. Tillery. Tillery is Vice President of Programs at the National Black Leadership Commission on AIDS and is responsible for health programming in New York City and through other affiliates across the United States. Michelle has more than 20 years of experience in the health services field, focusing on providing assistance to people living with HIV and AIDS and to those who have been affected by the epidemic. Michelle serves as adjunct professor at CUNY Hunter College Silberman School of Social Work. Michelle has a master's degree of social work from Fordham University with a concentration in client-centered management and specializing in gerontology. Tillery. Voices of Community Activists and Leaders. Voices of Community Activists and Leaders, also known as Vocal New York, is a statewide grassroots membership organization building power among low-income people affected by HIV and AIDS, the drug war, and mass incarceration to create healthy and just communities. In recent years, Vocal New York has won campaigns to improve access to affordable housing for low-income people living with HIV, like the 30% rent cap and HASA for All, and continues to build the political power of individuals directly impacted by HIV. Vocal New York was formerly known as the New York City AIDS Housing Network. Voices of Community Activists and Leaders. Terry Wilder. Over the past 25 years, Terry Wilder has advocated for HIV care and prevention policy change, provided HIV social services, and has presented information on HIV both locally and nationally. As the director of HIV/AIDS education and training at the Mount Sinai Institute for Advanced Medicine, she comes to work every day focused on improving clinician capacity to deliver care to people with HIV and hepatitis C across New York State. She is a proud member of the New York State AIDS Advisory Council Ending the Epidemic Subcommittee. Terry continues her family's legacy of strong, nasty women committed to social justice and change. Terry is honored to receive this award and dedicates it to her friends who are living with HIV. Terry Wilder.